He's the voiceover studio engineer of the Stars in Los Angeles, California, a Virginia Tech grad with a knowledge of recording studios unmatched in his field. He's a voice actor from Buffalo, New York, with 30 years experience in recording studios and behind the mic. He solves people's home voiceover studio problems in the blink of an eye. Together, there's no studio problem they can't solve, and they'll do it for you tonight. Welcome to East West Audio Body Shop. Now, live from a basement in Buffalo and an office in LA, here are Dan Leonard and George Whittam.
Hi, I'm Dan Leonard in the East.
And I'm George Whittam in the West.
And together we are East West Audio Body Shop. Happy Mother's Day, all of you mothers out there. You guys do an amazing job. I don't know how you do it.
I don't either.
I know what goes on at your house, and you probably have no idea what goes on here, but
very little. But we catch a little glimpse here and then, here now, when you do little videos for the show.
That's right. I think things are probably a little quieter here than they are in your place. So
yeah, usually.
But our wives, all you mothers, you do an amazing job, and of course, all you gals out there that are also doing voice work. How do you do it?
Oh yeah, working in home, doing self-employment and being a mother is mind-blowing.
Yes,
hats off to you.
Absolutely. Well, I'm not wearing my hat, so anyway, we've got a fabulous show for you tonight. Not that we don't usually have a fabulous show for you tonight, or any particular Sunday night, but we got a great one. Not only because we're celebrating Mother's Day, but also because we have somebody who's not a mother, but definitely a father, and a father to all of us. Harlan Hogan is our guest tonight, and he'll be joining us at the bottom of the hour, as we say in the broadcasting business. And he's got a special announcement, and that's going to be lots of fun. And so if you have any questions for Harlan, of course, you might want to write them down now. We'll try and
that's right.
Get them into them.
Have them ready for us.
Yeah, and we're going to be talking about, you're going to be talking about DAWs, and we're going to tributes to Mom, and we're just going to have a great time talking. We also got a problem we're going to talk about. Somebody has a question about something. We're going to talk about that.
We got studio photos.
We have a pile of people watching already. You guys are nuts. What is it with you guys?
Hey, everybody's home from their dinners. Everybody, right. I think most of our fans are actually on the East Coast or in the middle of the country.
Right.
Any fans out there, roll call. Who's West Coast?
Yeah, who's
your hand.
West Coast there? Raise your hand. Let's see some hands raised there.
Probably not as many.
Yeah, okay.
Judy is.
We know Judy's in Santa Clarita.
West Side. Pasadena. All right, Pasadena.
All right.
I should do this more often. Get a little roll call. It's fun to know where everybody is. Pleasanton.
Sound off. Where are you from?
Cool. Michigan. All right.
Tony, yeah, okay.
Virginia. They're all over the place. I love it.
God.
Toronto.
No, Toronto.
Toronto? Is that how you say it?
That's the way Jody says it. Pat says Toronto.
And this is like if you're from Louisville, Kentucky, you say Louisville.
Yeah, that's right.
And if you're from Philadelphia, you say Philadelphia.
Yes. Anybody from outside the country? Utah. Somebody's there from Utah.
Hey, there's someone from Philadelphia.
Philadelphia.
Right on, that's my home stomping grounds. Yeah, right. Christian Bell. Hey. Anyway, where were we?
I don't know.
We were going to do a show or something.
We were. Well, this is our show. This is
it. This is the show.
Right. When you and I start talking shop, people want to tune in and listen. So that's why we're here.
And we start doing what we were just doing, then I don't know what happens then.
And that's why we go to 10:25 as opposed to 10 o'clock.
Exactly.
It's just the way it runs.
It bleeds and bleeds.
It does. It does. Okay, so anyway, let's get into the meat of the matter, at least from a voiceover perspective. And we wanted to talk about digital audio workstations. I saved you the trouble of explaining that.
Exactly. Well, okay, digital audio, DAWS. I like calling them DAWS. They're not that popularly called DAWS in the VO world, but in the recording engineering world, that's what we call them. Everybody's got their own take on what works best for them. I've actually put polls up on the East West Audio Body Shop Facebook group. And if you're not a member of our group, please go into Facebook and join the group. It's open for anybody to come in, and you'll be more in the conversation as to what's going on about the show.
We like to hear what's going on in your life.
Yeah, we can answer questions on there too. It's it's very organic. So But basically, there's a lot of options out there. Obviously, there's a few of the venerable ones like Pro Tools, the ones that most people have heard of, Adobe Audition, and then of course the freebies like GarageBand and Audacity. It just so happens that I'm not a big fan of any one of those, particularly for people that need to do a very simple job of just recording a single mono, or usually mono, almost never stereo, but mono audio track, and cut that track, you know, take out little mouth sounds and clean it up, master it, you know, add some, just the right amount of processing and send it out. I found most of those applications just, there always was something in the way to making it as easy as possible in my eyes. Pro Tools it's an easy one. It's like it's our favorite punching bag, as you guys know from watching the show. I'll tell you, if you have a Pro Tools system that is reliable for you, doesn't give you error messages, and just seems to work the way you expect it to, count your blessings, and you know, just go ahead and keep right on using it. No problem. The thing is, I find is that inevitably you'll be happily using Pro Tools. It'll be reliable for you. You'll be running version 6 point something or 7 point something, but inevitably that good old trusty Mac you're running it on or PC just eventually dies. So now it means you have to upgrade everything. And I have found that it's so rare now that a newer version of Pro Tools on a newer system runs as trouble-free as some of the older versions. I don't know if it's because they're adding more and more bells and whistles to it, you know, to kind of keep it interesting, you know, keep it competitive with the rest of the softwares out there, or what. It just doesn't seem to maintain that stability level that we really have to have. I mean, you got to have software that you don't have to think about and wonder, is it going to, you know, drop out in the middle of a long session or a long take? Or is it going to give an error message, or, you know, any of those things? It just has to run and just has to be reliable. So I think Pro Tools gets some serious black marks for that. There's another kind of heavyweight recording application that is used heavily in the world of music production, and that's called Logic. And I was just telling somebody a couple days ago, the name Logic could not be more ironic. That program is the most, I think, one of the most illogical softwares out there. There's so many little things that say you should be able to go to this menu, drop down and normal. Oh, no. Normalize as a checkbox when you do an export, and you can't set the maximum. What? There's a lot of really odd things about Logic. Dan, have you dabbled with Logic at all?
Not really. I mean, I've seen it. Logic is like GarageBand's big brother.
Oh yeah.
I mean, if you really want to talk about it,
iMovie is to Final Cut as GarageBand is to Logic.
Logic, yeah. I'd say, you know, the bubbles look the same, except that you can scrub with Logic and all that. These are, you know, and I mean, you'll explain this. These are all multi-track programs. Their real design is for
music production, post, you know, stuff where you have to have multiple layers of material on top of each other. And to this day, still, for the vast majority of you out there, you're not having to do that. You're not having to do production where you're mixing in music and things like that. There's a handful of you out there who do production as well. Some of you wear multiple hats, and that's fine. But for the rest of you out there who are just voice acting and want to do something simple, not the best tool for the job. So, okay, let's go to the other side, the free side. You got Audacity, you've got GarageBand. Audacity works. I have some clients that still use it as their primary program to this day. But doesn't it have a few little annoying things about it? You hit stop, you hit record, it makes a new track. Every single time. You know, it's not like you can set a preference and tell it, please stop making new tracks. If that's changed at all, let me know. Because Audacity 2 just came out. And it does have a few new tweaks and some new cool features, but still, it has little idiosyncrasies like that. It also doesn't let you save presets for all the different effects processing tools that you might use. It does let you save one for an EQ, but it doesn't let you save one for different other things like compression, and it doesn't have a proper noise gate either. It only has a noise reduction tool. And noise gates and noise reductions are very different tools in the way that they work. You know, like a noise gate It's just a dynamics thing. It opens and closes based on the volume of the audio going in, whereas a noise reduction tool is doing this complex algorithm to try to filter out the noise. And the problem is it rarely does it without leaving behind some funky artifacts. So that to me kind of makes Audacity still not the perfect tool. GarageBand got a lot of great tools built in. It's amazing software. You can do so much for a free program. It's really fun. But for editing voiceover, no fun. It just is, again, not a very logical editing tool. It just doesn't seem to do the job.
It's totally visual. That's why, because you can't. You have to either play it in real time or you've got to do it visually. You can't scrub. In other words, going over the head, playhead.
Exactly. So okay, it leaves a few major ones out there. We've got Adobe Audition, and if some of you out there are still using Adobe Sound Booth, that was the straggler that's now been orphaned because they've now come out with Adobe Audition for the Mac. And as we announced last show, 6.0 is out, and it's got some new features on it that might be pretty useful for some of you, but maybe not for most of you. But Adobe Audition is a very interesting program because it's sort of like a Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde kind of thing. It's got your DAW for editing stereo or mono audio tracks. Basically your single track editor, which is a very familiar environment for many people that have learned recording and editing on simple tools like that, and it works very well for that. But then you hit a button and all of a sudden it goes into multi-track mode, and whoa, what do you got now? You got a totally different world. So it's just not the right tool for the job if you're just doing simple editing. Now, Adobe Audition does have a cool feature called the, Dan, fill in the blank for me here. It's called spectral editing.
Oh, yes,
the spectrogram.
The spectrogram.
The spectrogram. I don't know of too many other apps out there yet that have added that feature.
Yeah. Audacity has it, actually.
Oh, Audacity does now?
It always has. It just sucks.
Oh, it's just really bad.
It's just really bad. It's a different color scale, and it doesn't work quite as well. Right. Nothing is as powerful as the spectrogram. And a little bit later on today, somebody had a question about something, and I wanted to use the spectrogram to really show you guys what we're talking about. But
I mean, the spectrogram is a really precision way to do some cleanup of the audio. It's really amazing. You can see things in that spectrogram display that you cannot make out in a waveform display. It's almost like 3D versus 2D, when it comes to seeing what's in the audio, what pieces of elements are in the audio.
Right, and you can see things that you can't see in a waveform, but are clearly audible. So that's why I like it so much. I mean, that's what I primarily edit with. Is I just use the waveform as a reference point now. For quick editing, if I'm doing a lot of jobs.
Yeah, moving along fast. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I actually discovered something fascinating today because I was working on this huge project, and if you have your iPad and you've got Twisted Wave, well, we talked about this a little bit last week. There's a great little thing called Twisted Wave Remote.
Oh yeah.
So if I'm running like Twisted Wave on here, let me just open up Twisted Wave so you can actually see it happening here.
And there actually is a remote for Pro Tools. A couple different people doing remotes for Pro Tools also. But it's nice that Twisted Wave, they give it to you, right?
Oh, absolutely.
It's free, right? Just comes with the app.
That's right. So anyway, it'll show up here in a second. There's an app, and it came in incredibly handy today because I had 5 modules to record. Each one was over 100 slides each. And they want them divvied up, but not into slides, but they have to be divided up with 2-second spaces between each line with a label in the middle of it. So I had to mark it. So all I had to do is, once I had it on here, okay, we'll go back and get this on here. There we go. There's the Twisted Wave remote right there. There's you can use the transport on there, and then there's a little thing called Mark Audio. So instead of going beep, I can just tap that
Place marker,
and it places a marker on there.
It's super handy.
Oh, it is. It's a great little feature, and that's with Twisted Wave, which of course is one of our favorite programs.
So obviously we're big fans of Twisted Wave. If you're on PC though, and you're just really not interested in making the switch over to Mac,
he has it online now, doesn't he?
He has an online version. Go to twistedwave.com and check it out. It's a little bit stripped down. It doesn't have like the stacks feature, which is like a powerful feature of Twisted Wave in it. But if you want to try it out and give it a shot and see if you like it, he has a web version of it. So that's real. Can you think of any recording softwares on the web yet? Especially something that can do editing like that. It's pretty amazing.
Yeah. Well, it's a great program. And it's as far as simplicity, but with all the power you could possibly need for doing voiceover, Twisted Wave really has it.
That's cool.
Really
yeah.
does.
I mean, if you're on Windows, I've always considered Twisted Wave to be the sound forge for the Mac.
Yeah.
So that's kind of always been my default fallback on Windows was SoundForge.
Yeah.
Because it really was based in a single or stereo track editing program, so it doesn't get too overwhelming with extra features. The SoundForge Pro version does have multi-track, but get the SoundForge Audio Studio for $60. You're fine. You're totally fine. There's a bunch of other little apps out there, free and almost free, like Reaper, and there's a ton of them out there. But when it comes down to just consistency and simplicity and from a support standpoint, if you're relying on others like yourself to help you out when something goes wrong, pick something that's very commonly in use now and you can't go wrong. And Audacity will do it for you. Oh, wait, somebody's calling in here. Who's this? Hi, you're on East West Audio Body Shop.
Happy Mother's Day.
That sounds like my mom's voice.
It is.
Is that Mary Whittam?
It is. It is.
Hi there.
Skater Mary. Hello.
Can you turn on your camera?
Oh, I hope I can.
Have you been partying too hard today?
I have a little Pennsylvania froggy voice thing going on for a little while.
Sounds like it.
It's been cold and damp here in the Northeast.
Yeah,
that's right. That's right.
Well, unfortunately, not only do I not have your video, but Dan's video is actually frozen.
Help me.
So they're scrambling.
Help me. I'm asking Steve to help get my video on.
Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah, I know. Skype is like a moving target. Every version they come out with, they move the buttons around, hide some of them. They make it interesting for you.
Here I am. I dressed up a tad bit.
All right, cool. Let me see if you show up here. Hey, there we go. Nice hat.
Hi, George.
Happy Mother's Day.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. I thought I would surprise you on air.
Thanks for tuning in. Do you actually watch the show?
Cheers. I love you.
Do you watch the show?
You bet. Very faithfully. And I'm learning. Of course, I'm learning.
Cool.
Pieces and bits.
Somebody else is calling in here. Hang on a second. Now it's getting really crowded in here. Hello, this is the East West Audio Body Shop.
Hi, it's Dan's mom.
Hey, Dan's mom. Can you guys turn off while you're on the call with us, can you turn off your show in the background? That'll keep us from having that echo.
I'm off, George.
Oh, yeah, you're still there. Dan, are you still there?
His mustache is.
His mustache is, but everything else is gone. So it's just me and the two moms.
And I don't know where I am. I'm not there.
Well, all that matters is we see you.
Yeah, I know I'm here somewhere.
Hello,
there you are. Hey, Dan.
I know I'm here.
Hi, George's
we got Dan's mustache. We got Dan's mom. We got George's mom. Dan, why don't you drop off and then call back in? Maybe your camera will come back on.
Okay, I'll be back.
Okay.
You just ladies talk amongst yourselves.
Talk amongst yourselves. Introduce yourselves.
Hello,
Hi.
Mrs. Dan.
I find it ironic that you're in the east where Dan is, and I'm in the west where George is.
That is funny. Yes, I have a froggy in my throat. But hey, this is real fun. I'm glad Mother's Day popped up.
Once a year, whether we expect it or not.
Right.
Yeah, well, Dan has already spoken for my froggy voice in saying that in the east, northeast, we have some damp, cool weather that brings out the frogs.
That's right.
And here in Southern California, we have beautiful Southern California weather. The sun is shining. It's probably in the high 70s today. It's been lovely.
I'll be out.
About living in Southern California. Although we've had crazy weather too. We've had some very cold days that went down almost down to 50.
Ooh.
Oh, here too. It can happen.
Hey, Dan's back.
Oh, I'm here.
You must.
Where was I?
What's that? George as a child?
Oh no, that's got to be.
Well, that's very close because there's an identical resemblance. It's George's daughter and my grandchild.
Oh.
It's Ella. There she is, Ella, in a yoga position.
Mom's forgotten all about me as a kid. Ella immediately filled in the gap right there.
There we go.
Oh, okay. Man.
Ella resembles her daddy. It's so close. It's canny, or is it uncanny?
I think the term is it's uncanny, right?
Uncanny.
Yeah.
This is fun. I know we can't dominate the show, can we?
Well, you are right now, so
we
here
don't
now.
know any of this technical stuff at all. I'm fortunate that I know how to operate a mouse and a keyboard. So this stuff goes way over my head. But you have loyal listeners who tune in every week to hear these words of wisdom dripping from your lips on how to have a studio.
Hey, it blows our minds that we get these people to tune in every week too. But you know, we're straight up, we're honest, we're faithful, and we just try to keep the show moving and keep the interesting information flowing.
And obviously, you have that information at your fingertips because when people call in, they want immediate gratification.
Yeah, that's the way they are actually these days.
Everybody wants immediate gratification, exactly. Well, we have a lot of fun doing it. Obviously, we wouldn't be doing it if we weren't having fun. And the more interaction we get from the viewers, the fans, the listeners, the better. We have like a really active chat room. I don't know if either of you have actually clicked on the little chat button that comes up on the during the show or seen that on the screen, but it's really active. There's so much going on in there. It's really fun, and we get people asking questions back to our guests. And then we get emails, we get questions, all that stuff. Yeah, and the more we get,
George,
the more it fuels the show.
Your mom, one of your East West coffee mugs. That coffee mug she's drinking, if it's coffee she's drinking. Anyway, I have this wonderful East West coffee mug that Dan gave me. I think you need one too.
Yeah, Mom, where is it?
Guys, it's in the kitchen. You'll have to take my word for it.
Okay.
We trust you. We trust you.
I am not in the kitchen.
I have the East West mouse pad, so every time I play with my mouse, I run for my East West mouse pad. Right.
That's
Here's
not it. That's not the one I have.
Here's our pad.
Oh, okay.
Mine's kind of boring. It's just blue with a wrist rest on it. Sorry, guys. You'd think I'd have the EWABS mouse pad by now.
Yeah.
And Dan, how about your mouse pad?
Oh well, I don't. I've got drops.
Oh, water drops.
That's okay by me.
That Allsop water droplet mouse pad has made it around I've seen that thing in random places.
Don't act. It's like a gnome that somebody ships around the world.
Exactly.
But anyway, it is wonderful to have our mommies on here, and we wanted to wish them a very special Happy Mother's Day to both of you. And
thank you.
If it weren't for you, this show wouldn't be here.
That's true.
That's very true. Absolutely.
Well, good luck and keep up the good work.
Thank you. Thank you to both of you.
Stepson David. David, duck down so you're in the picture.
Hi, David.
Thanks for helping out, David.
Okay.
All right, moms. We'll say goodbye. Thank you so much for joining us.
Our pleasure.
Love you guys. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Hey, that wasn't too bad.
Hey, that actually worked.
It actually worked.
Now, if I can just get my camera working here properly.
Yeah, I know.
What happened to my other camera?
This software, I mean, it's... any Microsoft fanboys out there? I'll tell you, ever since Microsoft bought Skype, the only thing good I think they've done was added the multi-chat, where you could have more than one person on camera, or more than two. But man, other than that, maybe it's just sheer numbers, It could be just, like you said, Dan, it's getting hammered. It's Mother's Day. Everybody's talking to their moms. So, we're pushing it to the max.
Yep, maybe that's what it is.
But,
my other camera's not working. Okay. Isn't it lucky that I happen to have two?
Yeah, always have a backup, everybody. Well, maybe it's a good time to go to a break real quick, and we'll regroup.
We'll regroup, and then we've got another special guest and a super announcement, which you guys really came in to see tonight. So
that's right.
We'll do that right after this. So stay tuned. We'll be right back here at East West Audio Body Shop.
Eldorado Recording Services.
Randy Thomas chiming in.
This is Alex Verdi.
Hi, this is Bill Ratner in Los Angeles.
Hi, this is Scott Rummel here in Yorba Linda, California.
Hi, my name is Rick Wasserman.
Hi, this is Tom Kane.
Hi, my name is Vanessa Marshall.
Hi, my name is Zurich.
Hi, I'm Mary McKittrick.
Hi, I'm Peter McHugh.
I was turned on to George by none other than Don LaFontaine, who always swore by his health.
George is absolutely awesome.
ISDN, Source Connect, Phone Patch, FTP, you name it, George has set it up.
It's really the best thing I've ever done for myself. I feel free, safe, fearless, like anything is possible in here.
Unless you like to look for opportunities to waste time, call George.
And he did all of that, long distance over the phone and the internet.
I'm very happy with George, and I cherish
I've got my travel kit, I got my Source Connect, I've got it all going on, thanks to you.
Thanks, George. You make it easy.
Hey, my name is Bob Ball. I'm a voice actor and host of Pop Quizzical. Sure. I hear you thinking, Bob, what is this Pop Quizzical you speak of? Well, I'll tell you. It's a fun and funny, single-themed 10 to 15-minute audio quiz. It comes out every other week right here on the internets. You know, that thing that just about everything cool flows from. Pictures of cats, videos of dogs, and yes, Pop Quizzical. It's available on iTunes and wherever fine podcasts are sold. And it's easily found, too. Go to bit.ly/popquizzical. There's also a companion website at popquizzical.com with daily quiz questions, and every Friday over on the Pop Quizzical Facebook page, it's a Freebie Friday. Free stuff throughout the day. From The Muppet Show to James Bond to St. Patrick's Day, the Pop Quizzical podcast has a little bit of everything for you. Challenge your mind and your funny bone with Pop Quizzical.
Class dismissed.
This is East West Audio Body Shop with Dan Leonard in the East and George Whittam in the West. Two guys I love spending Sunday nights with.
And we love spending Sunday night with you guys. All right. It's another Sunday night, and thanks, of course, to our moms taking time out from their busy Mother's Day schedule to join us here at East West Audio Body Shop. And again, happy Mother's Day to everybody. But now it's time for something even more special. Not that our mothers aren't special, they're the most special people in the world, but somebody who's very special to us. Another person with whom this show would probably not be possible.
Definitely not.
Our great friend, our sponsor, our mentor. We won't go quite that far, but Harlan Hogan, welcome back to East West Audio Body Shop.
Hey. Thank you. And happy Mother's Day to you, too. I'm shocked that you actually had mothers, but it's my best Mother's Day card ever that I ever saw, if we've ever seen it. It's a New York Times cartoon. It shows two crocodiles sitting on their front porch knitting.
Right.
And the crocodile says to the other, every Mother's Day, I regret eating my young.
I regret it. Of course.
Anyway, my mother-in-law is here with my wife, mother of puppies.
Dan, you're killing us, man.
I'm sorry. I knocked over the mic. I'm in a different configuration here.
I know. Dan scrambled.
Just put the cord around over here, and hopefully I won't kick it over. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Does it sound okay now?
It sounds like this. From this end. No, it sounds good. Anyway, okay. Where were we?
Really?
Where were we? Harlan, how did you get the hall pass to be on our show tonight anyway?
That was by sending you checks to help out for this little hobby of yours.
You got that right.
You would have invited me anyway. You would have invited me because you're good guys, and I love what you do. And it gets all those people with questions for me that I can't answer off my back, so I got to keep you guys going.
That's what we're here for.
That's why we're here.
That's what we're here for.
Well, So, but I do have something new to announce, and I thought, where should I announce it? For TV, cable, or perhaps with you guys. And you were nice to say I could do that.
Happy enough to have you on. And so what do you got for us?
I have the evolution of a product that started out as an accident. Those of you who kind of know the lineage, I mean, obviously I do voiceovers for a living. I've been doing it for 35 years. As we got the home studio going. Homeschool, yeah, it is homeschool.
It is kind of, yeah.
As the ability and the joy and some of the downsides of now recording at home came in, and auditioning everything. The days where people just called and said, hey, I got 7 spots for you, can be at CRC, are long gone. Even if the campaign you currently do, you audition it. I started to be paranoid like everybody else in the business when I go on vacation or, in a hotel room or someplace else, and on the studios you can go rent, plus you've got to pay for them. And if it was an audition or something so I got into Douglas Spotted Eagle, a box out of phone core.
Yikes.
And I love that. And I found out later, actually, maybe a year ago, somebody wrote me from the BBC.
Hey, Harlan, is someone hogging your internet bandwidth right now by chance? Or anybody, it seems like you're on a weak signal Wi-Fi wise or something. Is that possible?
What's going on?
It's just very, very, very choppy. Very, very choppy.
You're breaking up. You're breaking up.
Here, you know what? Let's call you back. Sometimes just calling back just works miracles. Hang on.
Okay.
Let's try that.
Yes.
Yeah, it was really chopping up there, huh?
Yeah, I wonder why that was.
I don't know.
Hey, it's Skype. We're working on some alternatives here.
Exactly.
Skype, most of the time it works great.
Most of the time, I think you're absolutely hit the nail on the head that tonight we're pushing the envelope as to what we can actually do. All right, hang on here. Harlan, you back?
I'm back.
You're back. You're still choppy, though. Your audio is still choppy. Let's just do audio only and see if the video side of things is causing problems.
That could be.
For the moment. Let's see what happens.
Okay.
Okay, pick up where you left off, because I think it sounds better now.
It does.
Okay. I can't do my weight routine. That's okay. That's all right. So is that better?
No, we have your cameras. You're on camera.
Oh, okay, good. All right, good. I have to. I like using the phone. It's to some degree.
It's breaking up like crazy. Let me hang up on Dan for a second. Dan, I will call you right back.
I'll be back.
Bye, Dan.
All right, let's try that.
That was a clever way to get rid of him.
I've been trying for no, I'm just kidding.
I hope.
Oh, it's still really choppy.
Well, then we get rid of you.
I know. Okay, I'll hang up and Harlan, you take over. No, that's impossible, actually.
So, geez, I don't know. We're on X. Everything looks fine here. So. All right, let's do this. Since it's you and I, let me hang up on you, and then I'll call you back.
Okay. And then there was me. That's right. It's just me sitting here. Well, yeah, Skype has been really great, and Dan and I have oodles of bandwidth, so it's just, I think it's being nailed tonight. Let's see what happens.
Okay, I'm here.
Okay, we got Dan back and Harlan.
Wow, that's really breaking up on my end now.
Is it really?
Hey, yeah.
All right, let's get your cameras back. Let's see what happens. Yeah, I think the entire planet is Skyping with their moms right now. Something we did not predict being a problem.
It's just terrible. Hi.
Someone said my camera's good. Well, thank you. Part of the reason is because
you look great. You're fabulous.
It's a Sony camera that Dan gave me, first of all. And second of all, my video feed comes off the camera and straight into the software Ustream producer. But Dan and Harlan, of course, are coming in on Skype. So, they're getting squashed three ways to Sunday. Turn your camera on, Harlan.
Yeah, let's get this announcement out of the way. People are like, what is he talking about? What's going on?
I think some of them have figured it out. I don't know.
Maybe, maybe not.
Let's see if we can get your camera, Harlan. All right. We'll call him back one more time. Let's see what happens here. All right, gentlemen. Do we have you back?
Yes.
I hear Dan. Harlan, are you there? Wow. I didn't think it'd get worse.
Boy, we know he's there. We hear you breathing, Harlan.
Holy cripe, guys.
There we go.
Oh, boy. So you can't make us out at all, huh, Harlan? You can't understand us?
That is so bizarre.
Harlan, if you can hear me, I'm going to type to you in the chat room on Skype here. Harlan, go ahead with your spiel.
Demonstration.
Because I don't think he can hear us. You guys are all so patient in the chat room. Talk amongst yourselves.
Let me. Okay. You can hear me. Just
yes.
Say one word like yes. Okay. I'm just kidding. You guys are breaking it back, but okay. I'm going along with what I was saying, and hopefully you're getting it. So anyway, there's kind of a long lineage of the idea of a microphone being put inside a box. As I mentioned, the BBC did it back in World War II, which I didn't know. They just stuck some matches something in a box, but make it inside. With the mic, we hear a room.
I'm going to do this sign language.
A whole room. So I started fiddling around with that because I wanted some way to do it, and tried a bunch of different storage containers and boxes, and found one that worked and stopped making them, and came up eventually with some suggestions. Use this Whitmore cube and some foam put into it. Okay, just 12 by 12 pieces. Had no intention of ever manufacturing or making those things, but little by little, I kept getting phone calls and questions. I know George said, "Oh, that's a great idea. I'll make some up," and he did. It's still pending on that. Eventually, a lot of people said, "I'm going to cut the phone, make it." So I started making them and realized there was a business in it, and that was a good service. So since that's the basic, came out with the microphone, a few other products to try to help voiceover people with a limited number of suggestions. The Porta-Booth Pro, which was going to be the second item in the lineup, turned out to be the first one that I had custom made the way I wanted to in China. It's 125% bigger than the original Porta. But the project is near to my heart to improve on the original one, because I still like to use that myself, and I know that Dan said the same thing. You know, there's a lot of times when you just a small book audition away for a weekend, you don't feel like you're going to be doing work. You have a home studio, so you don't really need Pro. And that proved to be really difficult. It's pretty good audio with a smaller space, as you guys know, and there's less foam in it. I wanted something that could be assembled more easily, that would have foam on all 5 sides, and some of the features from the Pro. And so that's taken quite a while, but tonight, producing, it's a badly kept secret probably. And I think a video, if you don't, I'll just pull this up and make noise, but this is the Plus. It is basically a replacement for the original. It's about 15% bigger. That means a few inches larger, so we can get a little bigger mic in it. We can get iPads into it easier. We can get copy into it easier. But it still fits in most carry-on baggage and travels as carry-on. So we wanted to keep that. We kept it light. It's 4.5 pounds. That's the instruction sheet. It does come with a compression strap, so you can make it thinner if you want to. And it makes a really nice, light version. Let me show you how it goes together, because that's one of the hardest things to design, was a way to have foam pre-installed and still be able to fold up. It's not complicated. Take it to paper and play with that for a while. This is what we eventually came up with. It's ripstop nylon, so it's the same material they make tents out of and sleeping bags. So it's very, very tough. It's also very light, which I wanted. The basic booth to assemble is done like this. Fold it out straight. There is one strip, and I don't know how much of this you can see, one strip of Velcro that runs along here. So you simply end that up, and you are 3/4 of the way assembled, because that is the side of the booth.
Yeah, we can see it pretty well, Harlan.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Thanks.
See the whole thing.
Here, guys, too. Okay. On the back is a zipper that goes all the way around. So that's one step is to assemble the basic booth section. The second is to, I really do feel like Vanna White, but I'm a better actor. Having seen her at a show once. Wow, is she bad. So you just take this zipper that runs all the way around and zip it around. About as easy as it can be. It's easier not on your lap, but that's my setup here at the moment.
Easier on a table, yeah.
Yeah, it's much easier on a table. Just be careful not to rip the foam. Shouldn't be a problem. The only other thing you can do, you don't have to do, I mean, if you're just doing a quick job, it's quite sturdy on its own, but you can also, we do this on the Pro as well, there's these little Velcro strips that will square up the booth so that it doesn't lean to one side or another. And that's it. I mean, you have assembled the whole bang. So it really is like a half minute if you've got some skills.
Yeah, it's sort of like an amalgamate. You've taken what you learned from the Pro, right? And applied some of those techniques to the original one and made this Plus one.
Yeah, I mean, really, it's turned out that was the right way to do it, was to do the Pro and work our way back. And we're almost in the third generation on the Pro, and we want to keep improving products. Both of you have given me suggestions on number 1, number 2, which we took to heart and we've added, so there'll be a newer version coming out. I think every time we bring out these things, we'll have something, because, people write, they call, hey, what if you did this, what if you did that? And learned a lot about, what materials to use. We're using more bamboo because it's recyclable and it's so sturdy and so flexible, and it has good acoustic properties. So with this, with the ripstop nylon, you've got all of that. You have foam down. Now we have acoustic foam on all 5 sides.
Right.
One thing about foam on the bottom that can be problematic on this and the Pro is what kind of mic stand you use. For example, if you're using this kind of a mic stand, you've got a heavy mic, it could topple over. If you've got like this little mic guy that just came out from Apogee, that'll straddle the foam fine because of the design of it.
So the triangle or tripod style mic stands work the best.
They work great. But if you have this kind, and they work great, is what we've done now is pre-slit the bottom so that you can take that stand, just slip it through the foam like that. Now it's sitting on a solid surface.
Oh, that's cool.
So, yeah, it's very cool, very simple. Also gets it in the right place, and you can slide back and forth to find that sweet spot. Another thing we learned from the Pro was how many people wanted to use a 416, or they wanted to use RE20 they stole from a radio station. So on the original, the only way to do that was to cut a hole in the thing. Now we've got the double zip that we have on the Pro, and you can bring that 416 out through the back. You can bring your cables out through the back and zip them up. And we've also learned to make this a diaphragm back here where there's some fabric, allows the booth to breathe. Because a small booth like this, as you guys know, you get a lot of acoustic sound going in, you get reflections. It's much harder, smaller one than a larger one. If you look at the ones I sent you, you can see we've made a diaphragm back here to let some of that energy go out.
To me, that's very cool.
Isn't that cool? One of the most exciting things is that Auralex, which in my opinion, it's been my opinion for 30 years, makes the absolute best acoustic foam on the planet. It's expensive, but it holds up forever. I mean, one thing that Auralex does, it doesn't burn. If you were, not that I'm advising you to do this, but if you were to put a cigarette in there, it will self-extinguish. I bet you didn't know that.
Yeah.
The biggest thing about Auralex foam, and those of you who have not spent a lot of time in studios or radio stations won't even realize this, but all acoustic foam, except for Auralex, to my knowledge, you guys tell me there may be something else, starts to degrade almost instantly because it's foam. And in about 8-9 years, you start to have dust. I used to come home from studios and go, And I was blonde at that point. And I think, how do I have gray hair? And Auralex, when they first came out with this proprietary thing about 25 years ago, said we leave the competition in the dust, which was a pretty funny gag. This stuff is really great. Sounds great. And when you feel it, you can feel the difference. I always wanted, one of the first ones I made out of Auralex. And then when I tried to manufacture them and saw the cost and realized how much I would just have to charge to make anything, you know, not lose money, I abandoned it. We found some pretty good foam. I mean, it's good quality, but it's not Auralex. Last year, about August of last year, Eric Smith, who's the president of Auralex, out of nowhere called me up. And Jeff and I had mentioned him, Auralex, favorably in our book, and he knew I was a fan of theirs. He said, we got to have lunch. We want to be part of your product. We had what was described as, if not the best lunch in the world, the longest. I went to lunch about 1, and my wife is a very independent person, but at 8 o'clock she called and said, are you okay? Yeah, I'm having a great time with my friend, my new friend, Eric. She said, bring them back from the restaurant. Okay. We spent so much time. Just a terrific guy. Loves voiceover people. Loves what we do. And musicians. Everybody uses Auralex. So we found a way to partner. And so this is the first Porta-Booth to be made with Auralex foam, which I'm just thrilled about.
That's fantastic. Well, we've had some questions pouring in on the chat room, so we're going to keep Dan off the line for the moment because it really does seem to be helping the audio, especially from your end. So I'm going to.
Well, I think that's true, and visually it's a lot better.
Right. Well, Dan is hanging out in the chat room, so he's going to be moderating from there too, which is great. But there was a question about whether you can work it standing or sitting, and you don't see it, Harlan, but I have the brochure that comes in the box, and a picture of Terry Lee standing at the Porta-Booth, hanging from a boom arm. And it's very clever the way you did it. And you guys actually sell a strap thing you call the adjustable boom stop, which is kind of clever because what it is, it's a. Let's see if I can get this so the camera doesn't blow it out completely. There we go. That's pretty much visible. It's a brace for your stand because most people don't have monster studio stands that have like a giant clutch to keep them from sagging or a counterweight on them. So the strap is sort of a brace.
Yeah, the only other, in a pro level like we know in studios when we're talking $300, $500, there is one. The ultimate stand is about $150, which is still a lot of money. That it has a weight. They all had weights at the end of the boom arm. Now you have a piece of plastic because they're made in China. They don't want to ship weight.
Right.
That's true. Yeah, and the only thing keeping your mic from falling down is a little fiber washer that's about 10 cents at the hardware store. And after time, or a rubber thing that after time, they're knuckle busters, you know. Yeah. You tighten, you walk out. I had early on a guy named J. Horace Black, who I adore, voiceover talent, off the VO1 microphone, writes to me, and he's a great young guy, and he's just getting started, and he sent me a picture of his mic with a big dent, right here.
Oh.
Right there.
Man.
The good folks at MXL sent him a new basket, which was great. The microphone. But it does point out, it happens, and it falls. And if you've got a good mic on there. So the only alternative is some kind of weight. And I thought, why not this adjustable strap? I didn't bring one up here because I was going to talk about the booth. And we can do that on another show maybe. Sure. Very simple. You can do this if you're good at knotting. You can do it with a piece of cord and tie rolling hitches. And I'm a sailor, and I can't remember how to tie a rolling hitch, but you can do it. This has non-skid in there on both ends so that you can put it on the upright tube or on the bottom tube, and it won't slip. It's gray on purpose so you can adjust it, but also you can mark it.
Oh, okay.
See? So if you've got a band, you've got a bunch of people to set up, you can mark it for George or whatever. I get very protective here, and I'm pretty much work by myself, but once in a while, a lovely, talented lady named Nancy Sellers comes over, and we do a dog and cat narration for a good client, male-female thing. I record my part, she records her part. She's quite a bit taller than me.
Mm.
I hate to move the mic because, you know, then I've got to adjust it again and make sure I got it right and all that.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, yes, on the first one I have, I wrote NS, Nancy Sellers, and then I've got one HH, me, and I can reset the stand in a second. These are not out for sale quite yet because I have a provisional patent pending on them, but should be a Guitar Center, and they're going to be very, very inexpensive. It's like a pop filter, but I think you'd be foolish not to, because
it makes total sense. Gosh, I've torqued down the clutch.
You don't really, like that clutch thing doesn't work. I usually don't even tighten it anymore. I just pull the strap. It can't go anywhere.
Yeah.
And it's a simple idea. Honestly, I keep thinking, how come somebody didn't think of that smarter than me a long time ago? But, you know.
Well, it's one thing to think of something. It's another thing to actually make it happen.
That's true. And in the old days, we didn't need it because they had 20-pound, weights laying out at the other end, and you balanced the microphone, and you were done. So, anyway, the ABS helps. It's not required to have it. I think it's a good idea. The Pro, you really need that because it's heavy. This booth is only 4.5 pounds, so it doesn't really weigh a lot. So we just take a regular mic stand, boom, our mic stand, take it in as you can with Terry, a little bit of an angle, hang the mic on it. It's light enough that you can, I like to use a right angle connector like this. So put a right angle connector and the top of the Porta-Booth Plus, just rest on that, just no damage or anything, and you can set up.
Excellent. Well, I really love the innovation. I love that you keep improving on an old design instead of just resting on your laurels. And I think it's really a great iteration or a next step for that, for their good old Porta-Booth. You could probably put an iPad in the back of that thing, couldn't you? You could lean one up on the back of that.
If you can see or not, there's plenty of room for an iPad back here. Or an iPhone, or quite a bit of copy. It was that little 15%, a little more room, so you get a little more breathing room to it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm using the iPad even at home in the booth for most scripts now. What I'm seeing is that ad agencies in particular, and even corporate people, I got a thing the other day, it's 14 pages. Instead of printing up a script, they send me the script with the storyboard.
No, no kidding.
Well, yeah, all in color. So, I want to be good to the planet too. I don't need to use that much paper and that much toner, frankly, to print this out. And now I've got all these visuals I don't need. So more and more, and a lot of auditioning scripts are coming that way. And they say, do the first 30 seconds. Well, you sent me 15 minutes.
Right.
I just take the iPad wherever I am. I think they're fabulous, and just open it up and scroll through and read the 30 seconds and hit delete. So anyway, there's plenty of room for that.
Yeah. And what's this bad boy selling for?
That will be on here. There's a bag, free bag.
Oh, yeah, the bag. But wait, there's more before we tell you.
And so you can carry it on, put it in the overhead or stick it inside your luggage if you prefer. It does fit in a BMW side bag.
Oh, for a motorcycle, cool.
For me, I'll take the Pro if I'm going for a longer time or I've got finish spots to do. Hands down, that's the way to go. But you go out for a weekend, you think, I might have something to do. That fits. It's $149. So it's $20. That's the introductory price. It will go to $189 at some point, but I want to get some out. $149. So it's $20 more than the old little guy.
It's great. Yeah. It's a huge upgrade from the old one, and stay tuned because we'll definitely do a shootout between the Pro and the Plus to give you guys the a contrast on size, sound, all sorts of stuff, and give you guys a better picture. Because Dan, I know I've got both here. So in a future show, we'll set them up both, and we'll have them at Voice 2012 too.
Yeah, great. Yeah, I've always seen them as, of course, you could say they're competitive in a sense, but the Pro we saw as, and Dan was the first to say, people can use this as their home studio and take it on the road.
Right.
And some people use, the basic Porta-Booth or the Plus as their studio at home, but it really is designed to be the on-the-road warrior.
Yeah.
Small, grab it, go. And I use both, too. I mean, I have to say, it depends on where I'm going. And even, it's funny, I found that, like, New York, 4 days doing a workshop.
Yeah.
There's a million studios, but it's just so, first, I always believe, if you're on the road and a client calls to the spot, it's up to you to pay for the studio. I mean, it's not their problem. You're at home. So it's that, then just eat your day. Like when the last time we were in Vegas and I ran into you, there's a really good office studio in Vegas, but it's 45 minutes to get there and 45 minutes back.
Yep.
And I want to see the show. And so, those instances, I do take along the Pro. If you keep track of the microphone that you use, I'm not you guys, I write it on my script, and I basically work with 2 mics 99% of the time. I take them both on the road, and I know who it is. I know the kind of spots they do. I'll use my mic, the VO1A, for softer or longer form, and I'll use this, if I'm doing a what was he thinking political spot. He's one of us. So I pretty much know, it's Cold Harbor. Oh, okay, that's 416. Stick it in, and I, knock on wood, to this date, after years of using these things, I've never had anybody say, well, that doesn't sound like what you did last week.
Right.
No. I'll say, by the way, I'm at the Wynn Hotel in the corner with the mini bar. I shut that off. But if you have the same mic, why don't tell them? And it's just such a time saver. And for vacations, it's a marriage saver because, at some point, please.
Well, I've got people were asking what it sound like, so I figured I would actually show them. So here's the Audio Technica 3035, a very common mic that's been around a long time. A lot of people know this mic. It's similar in size and shape to the VO1A. It's a side address condenser. And I've actually moved my camera over a little bit. And I actually have the mic rigged up in here. It's kind of hanging off my studio boom. But so I'm not talking dead into the box. I don't have my head facing in. I'm kind of facing across a little bit. So I'm not having to actually look into the box. I could actually have my copy out here next to it. So if this was the copy.
A lot of people do that. They put it out to the side and it works fine.
Yeah, so here I am. I am, this is a pretty good test of this, actually, because my office is not very quiet. And in full disclosure, there is some processing on the show, so there is some noise gating on the recording. But acoustically, you can hear, what the results I'm getting from inside the voiceover, the Porta-Booth Plus. And I'm in an office with no acoustical treatment of any kind except for the curtain that's behind me. So this probably simulates your typical kind of quick setup or hotel room situation. And it sounds pretty good.
It does sound good. We get some vacuuming sounds in the background. I never tried it with the phone headset. I wonder how that sounds. Probably about the same.
The phone headset.
And just while we're chatting, the biggest mistake people make with the Porta-Booths, both of them, and the original one and now the Plus, is to stick their head into it.
Right.
Because you got to get close and back off a little. I think a lot of voice people are so overly paranoid about noise.
Yeah.
Maybe that's because they haven't been in pro-level studios ever realized you want some liveness. You want some noise. I mean, you don't want vacuum, but a room has to have some life to it. Have either of you ever recorded in a room that's so dry that it sounds horrible? It just sounds spooky. I had a client a number of years ago that had converted the safe in a grocery store to their studio. You want to talk about paranoid, no windows, and the big knob on the door when Harlan, right in here's our studio, and claustrophobia was coming in. They had put acoustic foam up, but that was about it. The stuff sounded, it was as close to a soundproof booth as the world could get to.
Right.
It sounded terrible. There was no life to it.
Anechoic would be the term.
Yeah, anechoic chamber. Exactly. Not good for voice.
Yeah.
Not good. Not good.
Exactly. Yeah, the room has to have some acoustical property, obviously. Otherwise, it doesn't sound like a person talking in a room.
Yeah, or that somebody got really heavy-handed with the noise reduction in their software.
Yeah.
When eventually you start to sound like somebody on Skype.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Well, Dan, go ahead and call back in. We'll add you back in so we can wrap it up. But I know he wanted to get back on and ask you a couple quick things here. Dan, you're back.
Oh, well. Yes.
I have returned. I am back.
Back? I think Dan's phone.
I'm here.
He's here.
I have arrived, and I've got my Porta-Booth set up here. My Porta-Booth Plus here. If you can see it,
no camera.
A little bit more light on it.
No camera yet. Dan.
There we go.
Look, Dan, nice almost talking to you.
Yeah.
Exactly. We did what we had to do. The show had to go on. We don't have your camera yet, Dan, but we do hear you.
Oh, hold on 1 second here. You don't?
Nah.
George?
It should be coming on here in a second.
Are you still there, George?
We believe
George
you.
is there somewhere.
We believe you, Dan. We believe you. We believe you're using the booth. So right now you've got the I saw it earlier. You have the Apogee mic, the booth standing on a stool, and you have the Apogee mic rigged up inside it.
That's an excellent description, George. Really. I see my camera on here. Let me try one more time here.
It's just par for the course.
Actually, it is sort of par for the course today. But anyway, I've got it set up, and I've got the Apogee mic in here, and I'm talking directly into it. And how's it sound from your perspective there?
Other than the fact that it was just starting to break up there at the end, it's the thing about you, Dan, is it's a tough comparison because you're already in a pretty well treated room. So we don't get a drastic change, but it's definitely a little tighter sounding, I would say. Maybe a little more bottomy.
Yeah, well, and the thing is one of the things we found out about using all the booths is as we discovered, you can't talk like right into it like that because that's going to make it sound kind of boomy. I discovered if you talk sort of like into the top lip, that seems to make it sound nice and clear and natural. So. Yeah. That tends to take out some of the bass reflex that can happen if you talk right into the thing, but that's not how it's designed to work. It's designed to work, from normal. You have to use normal condenser mic rules with it. Yeah. 5 to 7 inches with a pop screen and
a little off axis,
and it'll work.
Yeah, a little off axis, not dead down the middle.
Right. This is a great design because it's Harlan brilliantly made it taller so you can fit a much better microphone in there, or stuff one and like you had to do with the old, with the old Porta-Booth, the square one. This is a much superior design, and now with the iPad and everything, it's fabulous. And I've discovered that you can put the iPad on top of this thing and rest it on top of there, read your copy from there, so you're not talking down into your mic, you're talking over the top of it, and it really avoids plosives that way.
Oh, cool. Yeah, I think you were showing that earlier. Maybe after we go out, we'll do another break here in a second, and we'll say goodnight to Harlan, and then we can get that camera back on, and we can see what you're talking about.
Works for me. Harlan, it's been a pleasure having you on tonight.
Thank you, Harlan.
I've been sitting here alone.
I'm hoping he can hear us. He's been very patiently sitting there with a finger over his nose, looking a little bit like Santa Claus. Can you hear us, Harlan?
Apparently not.
Apparently not. Oh, man. Well, Harlan, thank you so much. I know you can't hear you, but thank you. We'll let you go. We'll put you out of your...
There he is.
We'll put you out of your misery now.
Hey. If you could hear me, thank you guys. And I think it's all everybody calling their mother at the last minute on Skype because they're too cheap to use the phone company. But bye.
Thanks, Harlan.
Bye, Harlan. Bye.
We're going to take a break, everybody. We'll be right back. We'll regroup. And thanks for staying tuned in East West Audio Body Shop. We'll be right back.
This is East West Audio Body Shop with Dan Leonard in the East and George Whittam in the West. Now back to Dan and George.
All right. Hey, we're back.
We did it.
And we did it. Somehow we were able to get me back on here. You know, now there's a couple of things going on here. One, as we've been relating, it's Mother's Day, which is wonderful. But like Harlan said, you're all calling it at the last second. You forgot your mom. Don't you realize you're interfering with our show? There's only so much bandwidth here in America. But anyway, but also my other camera is no longer interfacing. There was an OS update today with Mac.
10.7.4, right?
I lost count, about 10.7 or so. And now my regular Sony camera is not working. The FireWire interface won't work. But fortunately, we've got the
built-in iMac cam.
Yeah, the eyesight.
Yeah, eyesight. Yeah.
Anyway, but I wanted to demonstrate what I was talking about with the new Porta-Booth Pro. Is I usually will talk into the top lip. So if you take your iPad and get your copy from wherever you get your copy from. Here we go. You can just put it right up there like that, and hopefully it'll stand up. And now you can read your copy like this. In 2011, we launched our brand's most talked about marketing campaign ever. So for 2012, we set our sights even higher and found two of our consumer. See, how does that sound?
It seems to work pretty well, actually.
It does.
You're a good foot away from the mic, but because you have the box around it, it's not letting the voice bounce around too much.
Right.
And then you're looking up at the script the way you should be, as opposed to down at the script.
Right. Well, you can look down if you got your microphone upside down.
Right.
This is just sort of, the reverse of what I usually have going on in here.
Nice.
So anyway, so that's how that works. Oh, we have another special guest.
We do?
Well, maybe not.
Was somebody else randomly calling in?
No, I'm not. I think somebody was randomly coming in my studio here. Anyway, so but this is how I've got it set here. This is we do have our special guest now. Come here. You get to sit here for 1 second and wish her a happy Mother's Day.
Sweet. I need to go get mine. I'll be right back.
Yeah. Okay, you've got to go. So in the meantime, we'll just talk. This is my lovely wife, Marcy, and the mother of my children, who are just being wonderful tonight. And anyway, thank you, dear. Anyway, back to the Harlan Hogan thingy-bob here.
Mine's sleeping.
She's sleeping. Well, I heard it was a long day.
Sleeping on mommy's lap. That's the problem. Otherwise, she'd be coming in right now.
Yeah. So anyway, this is, as you can see, it's very easy to set up, very economical. The Porta-Booth Pro is a wonderful instrument, and you can carry your clothes in it too, and it fits in the rack. This is a little smaller, a little lighter. Have two. I mean, you can say, I think I'll take the bigger one this time. It's kind of a good idea.
Well, the bigger one is big enough that you can actually use it to carry gear in. You can pack stuff in it into the bag and actually manage to carry, quite a bit of stuff with it. So you can double as a gear bag.
That's true. That's true.
Well, enough about Harlan.
Yeah, enough of this. We'll just move this back over here so I can actually look in the camera.
Exactly. No, it was great of him to be on and announce the new product on the show. I'm sure it's very exciting for him. I mean, anytime you're doing a product like this, it takes incredible amounts of time. I hope he's making some money on it, but if you were to look at the time he's invested in the R&D and the coordinating of the product, I'm sure if you kind of amortized it out or something, he's probably not making a whole heck of a lot.
He doesn't care about
I don't know what he's thinking.
He only cares about us.
Yeah, he's great.
The viewers.
He's great.
And the those of us in the voice biz.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh,
anyway.
We got Max on the show. Hey, Max. Oh, cat. The question of the week. We had something come in from, let's see, we actually already addressed that one. Sorry, let me jump back one here.
That was the one about the noise floor.
The noise floor, yeah. Yeah, this one's from Mark Nelson. Mark Nelson writes, how does one go about determining the noise floor of your recording system? Is there some official way of making this measurement? And if so, what is it? I see recommendations and even requirements for maximum noise floor, i.e. below -50, -60. I just don't know how to determine what that actually means. So,
well,
thank you, Mark.
Excellent question, Mark. And a lot of people are like, noise floor? What is that? Like Mark there, he's like, what is it?
What does it mean? Yeah.
I guess the best place to start there is to talk about what we call signal to noise ratio. The noise floor is sort of associated with that. What you've got is the sound of your voice, the wonderful tones of your voice, and then you've got all the noise that is surrounding you. Now, a lot of people will get, like a whisper room or a soundproof booth. The reason for that is to isolate yourself and to make sure that you're not getting what's called a noise floor. It's any sound that isn't your voice. So it's the sound of air conditioning, the furnace, the dog barking, the generator at a hospital around the corner, things that vibrate, and you can't necessarily hear it in some frequencies, but a lot of times you can. Sometimes it's just, we've discovered many times it's, you live outside, somebody's living close to a highway and the house is actually vibrating. And a good sensitive microphone is going to pick that up.
Yeah. So sometimes it's hum or acoustically generated noise, and other times it's electrical noise, or just like the self noise of the microphone, or maybe the way you have your equipment set up, your gain structure isn't quite right, and you're getting a lot more white noise than you should, or a bad USB mic. It's any number of things contributes to it.
Right. So how do you measure it? Well, there used to be what we call the broadcast standard, but we're going to take the broadcast standards and we're just going to basically toss them out.
Right.
Because broadcast doesn't really matter anymore.
Different standard.
It's a totally different standard. We're dealing with digital recording. You've got more headroom. The mics are able to pick up more. You're able to get more detail out of it. And there's no what we call white noise. You're not supposed to have any anyway. But you want to get your noise floor under 50 dB. Now you're all going, what's 50 dB? That's very quiet, but it's still audible. And you want to be able to get that down to 50, -55, so you can at least seamlessly get rid of it using processing. Now, what I'm going to do here, George, and I'm hoping that maybe this will work and maybe it won't.
Pushing the envelope here, but let's give it a shot.
We're going to try here. Okay, I'm going to try and do a screen share here. Let's see if that'll work. Share screen. Okay. Starting. Okay. Can you see my screen there?
I'll tell you, I might in a moment. There we go. Okay. It's working.
Okay, so let's, there's the problem. Software updates are available for your computer, in case you were wondering.
Ignore. Not now, thank you very much.
Not at the moment. So let's go into, say, my favorite program here, and that is Adobe Audition. Hey, this is 6.0, guys.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so it'll pop on here in a second, and you will see, using the spectrogram, if it ever turns on here. Now this has a tendency to crash Skype, so we'll see what happens here. There's enough going on tonight. Oh sure, let's do an upgrade while everybody's talking to their mom here. Okay, here we go.
Sure.
Okay, so if I just start running my mic here. Yes. Okay. Thank you very much. Of course, it goes into micro. Okay, here we go. Let's try it again. Okay. Okay, now here up top, you see your normal waveform as we talk there. And on the bottom here is what we call the spectrogram. Now, if I stop talking for a second.
You got to stop moving the mic too.
Okay. You see this area right here? That's the noise floor. This is, it's down here. You can't see it really.
In the waveform, it's hard to see.
In the waveform, it's in the waveform, it's right here. You can see it if we really zoom in. You can you can see that it's there. But here you can clearly see. You can see what frequencies it's occurring at. It's mostly at under 200. Now the air conditioning is actually running in here today, so that's why we're actually getting this noise floor here. But you can see it's bright down here But the way you measure it is actually pretty simple. You take a section of noise, and you look at your VU meter down here, if you can see the VU meter, which you should be able to do.
Yeah, we see it.
Okay, and you put it on loop and hit play, and you can look at the VU meter, and where it's averaging here, it's about minus 40, which is actually pretty loud for in here, but I'm not using it's not set up the way it usually is in here. It's usually much quieter. But that noise is noise that is not my voice. That's the noise of my house. And that's what a noise floor is. And we measured that. That was about 42. Normally in here, when the furnace isn't running, because I turn it off, the noise floor is around about minus 53.
Right.
Which is why I'm building an isolation booth in here. But I've been able to do it all these years in here because it was, all right, it was cheaper than buying an isolation booth.
Yeah.
But I've worked hard. I've earned the opportunity to build an isolation booth the way I want. So this can all go like that.
Exactly. Well, let me ask you another thing. So
sure.
Obviously that's the noise floor when you're not talking. Is it important to normalize first? Because if we don't know what the peak level is, how do we know what the true dynamic range is between peak and the noise floor?
Well, differing philosophies on this. I mean, my philosophy is always normalize last.
Yeah, but just for the purposes of measuring noise floor.
For measuring noise floor, yeah. I mean, if we did normalize it, I mean, well, let's normalize it and see what happens.
Because the noise floor is only relevant if you basically, it's like you know what the noise floor is on the meters, but if the peak recording volume in that passage that you're using to measure noise floor is only minus 20, then if you subtract 40 from 20, you get 20 dB, and that's probably more likely what the actual noise floor is, right? That's the technique that I've been using anyway.
Right. Well, I found that if you get rid of it on top, so say if we run a noise gate on here now, and it's like at minus 47. So let me set another noise gate here. Let's set this one here. And if you've never seen what a noise gate looks like, it looks something like this. We know that this noise floor, I measured it at about minus 42 or so. So
right.
I would set the gate here, although that's minus 39, we'll go to minus 40 there. And if I apply this, watch
so
what
you're
happens.
Putting the threshold just above the noise floor.
Right, exactly. So as you can see, the noise floor is now gone. You know, anytime where I was talking here, you can still see there's some little spikes there. Yeah. You still have to clean it up afterwards. Yeah. But now that you've gotten rid of it, you can now normalize the audio.
Right.
And it will not be quite as you can see. It's still
right.
The noise floor is not audible. That's why I like to do the noise gating. I do my editing, I do the noise gating, and then from there I can generally keep the noise down. And remember, also with the spectrogram and being able to zoom in really tight, if you still see noise, you can always just go in between there and just take it out.
So my thought is that if you're recording with good modulation levels like you are, and your peaks are somewhere in that minus 6 to minus 3 range, then that noise floor measurement is pretty accurate, right? Because it's pretty close to based on your full volume recording.
Exactly.
If you're recording with really poor technique, bad gain, or really low levels, then you're dealing with, let's say your peak level in your recording pass is only minus 16 dB or something, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, in order to get, a level that somebody actually wants you to use, you have to normalize it, right?
Right.
Well, let's say before your noise floor was minus 40. Now you've normalized it 16 dB. What's your noise floor when you're all finished? Now it's, do the math.
Right. Don't ever ask me to do the math.
24 dB or something like that, right? So to me, it's really important to make sure it's based off of your recording levels, right?
Right. And the thing is you do not want to record quiet. You want to record as loud as possible without overmodulating. Now we're arguing over what's really the best way to record. I think we've come to pretty much a consensus. You want to be at least between minus 6 and maybe tops minus 4. So you want to record loud. So if you get your noise floor down, under minus 50 when you're recording that loud, then you've really got something, because you don't normalize something to make it really loud from something that's like this, it's got to be loud. It's after you do all your processing, and you want it to have maximum modulation after you've done all your processing. So you do your normalizing last.
If you're using normalizing as a way to make up gain, that's not a good way to do it, because that's just going to bring up noise and everything else at the exact same time.
Exactly.
So, yeah, it's not a good way to make up for the lack of gain. And I see people do that regularly because they think it's what somebody told them to do on one of the forums, I guess.
They were wrong.
Don't use it that way.
No. Normalization is if you record properly, it's after you've compressed something and you've removed all the background noise and you've got everything the way you want. And actually, if you set the makeup gain on your compressor right, you don't even need to normalize, right?
If your compressor has a makeup gain, which some do, some don't.
Some don't.
It's nice when they do, but if they don't, then yeah, you do have to. For me, my workflow in Twisted Wave is, and this is unusual for most people, but what I do is I actually have you normalize before and after you process. And the reason I do that is because the threshold setting in your gate and your dynamics processor is extremely dependent on the input signal, or the peak level in the input signal, or even the average, really. But it's really hard to control the average, so you can at least control the peak. So I always recommend people to normalize to -3, run their processing chain, and then normalize again afterward. Now, all that's doing is just making sure that the reference volume that you're outputting is really consistent. That to me, I think consistency is really, really important. It's a sort of a crutch. You could call it that. You could call it a Band-Aid, whatever you want to call it. But as long as your input levels are a nice hot signal to begin with, and you're not using a normalized pass or normalized process to make up for really low gain, it could help you in your processing. That's just the techniques I've found that has worked well for me with like Twisted Wave.
Right.
Normalize to -3, process, normalize to -3, send it off. It works for me.
Yeah, and that's the great thing about it. As long as it works, who cares?
Right.
Exactly. If you're finding work and you're not getting a lot of background noise back there, if you effectively deal with it, whether you listen to how George does it or the way I do it, because it works both ways.
Mm-hmm. And if you're not really sure what your noise floor is, and you're not really wanting to guess, and you're not sure if the audio quality you're getting out there is,
send it to us.
Send it in. Dan's got the specimen cup. I've got the Dropbox. Same thing. You can visit our websites, homestudiomaster.com. What's your new domain, Dan? It's
homevoiceoverstudio.com.
Homevoiceoverstudio.com. And I've got vostudiotech.com. We both have places you can drop a file. We'll listen to it and give you an idea where you're at in regards to mic technique and noise floor and acoustics and all the different little bits and pieces that come together to make a good recording. So that's what we do.
That's what we do all day long. Well, no, I'm also a voice actor.
And Dan's a voiceover too. So he's juggling all those things and doing voiceover.
Yeah, it's, like I said, the wife slides me meals under the door once in a while.
Exactly.
Sometimes she slides herself under the door, which is kind of nice, as we just saw. Anyway, do we have a pick of the week? I know we have a picture of the week, and then it's getting kind of late.
We do. We are going real long today.
Yeah,
but we do have a pick of the week. We didn't get an audio sample in time. She was going to send us one, and life is what happens. But we do have some picks, so let me drag this window in so you guys can see it. And these are from the Malibu, California area, up the road from me.
Yeah. From
Regina Pope, and she's got a beautiful booth. She said it was a long time coming together. She learned a lot of things, and it sounds like it was a labor of love type project, but it looks like they built this thing themselves. So here's the booth, and then let's scroll in and see the area outside the booth, sort of the outer office area. I see she's got a Yeti sitting on the desk there. I'm sure that's like her backup or travel mic maybe. And then here's a nice shot showing her desk adjacent to the booth. And that's how I usually set them up. I like to have as much stuff outside the booth as possible. So when you're in the booth, you've got a mic, maybe a computer monitor, and sometimes a small mixer for controlling some levels. And that's about it. And so she sets it up the way I like to do it. A couple of monitors, nice and clean. Not a lot of extra gear there.
Yeah, and it's amazing how neat some people are.
I know.
When they take pictures of their studio. I don't care. I got things piled up here, but she's got that nice rack to hang her headphones on, and all the all the cables and stuff like that. When this place gets rebuilt, if I ever get around to it this summer, I just signed on to do a book, and oh cripes, it's just then we got Voice 2012.
I know there's so much stuff going on right now.
I know, and big projects, and for those of you out there saying, "Where's the work?" It's out there. I know they keep calling me for some reason, but we're gonna get and once it's built, I am going to make it as neat as our friends here. So it's going to be right.
Yeah, good luck with that.
Yeah, really.
It's called entropy, Dan. Entropy.
Entropy, yes.
Everything goes to chaos when all things being equal.
Yes, but out of chaos comes order.
Yeah. Anti-entropy.
Yes, exactly.
Exactly.
As long as we're not getting existential here.
Yeah.
And I already had to deal with philosophy. Anyway, it's getting all right. It's 10:31 here, guys. And look there's still 51 of you guys watching this show. You've got nothing better to do tonight. We could go on and on. By the way, tomorrow night I'm doing a talk to the pro with our friends at Voice 123 and Edge Studios. You can call in and you can ask questions, and I'll make up something to talk about, I'm sure. But we'll be answering studio problems and how to fix up your studio and stuff. And that's what we do. So
what's going on next week? I can't even remember right now. I think we still have a hole. We may I don't even want to make promises about our guests right now, but we might have Rolanda Watts on next week.
Yeah. And if not, my otolaryngologist is standing by.
Cool. Yeah, well,
now it may sound boring. The guy is great. He really is.
No, this could really actually be extremely educational. I'm looking forward to actually hearing what he has to say. So I think it's
and he's got a great voice.
Well, there you go.
He actually sings opera. Speaking of which, my wife was in a wonderful production of Iolanthe. If any of you like Gilbert and Sullivan, it was wonderful. She plays a fairy, and it was actually a very good. And I love Gilbert and Sullivan, so it was cool. She was very good.
Oh, that's great.
Anyway, all right. This is as late as we've ever gone.
I think it's a record.
I think it is, and a huge audience too.
Thank you guys.
I know, So we're glad that you guys showed up this week, and next week. I know we'll be back.
We're going to be back. I know that.
I'm going to get this other camera working again. I know exactly. I know what it is. It's this update.
I'm sure it is. You got it back up. You can just roll it back. No problem, right, Dan?
That's true. Well, I'll just use the other computer. That's all.
Exactly. Another thing. Thanks for the shout out we got a couple weeks ago during. I think it was Tara Strong was on VO Buzz Weekly.
Yep.
One of our. I think it was Regina herself actually, who we just had pictures on, mentioned us on their show in a letter, and they were kind enough to give us a little shout out. So we'd like to shout it back at you guys over at VO Buzz Weekly. They're doing a totally different tack on doing a show on the voiceover. It's an interview show. If you guys haven't seen it, I'd be shocked if you guys haven't seen it by now. They've done a really good job of getting it out there. But tune in, check it out. They're getting really great interviews on that show. I mean, awesome people that I've been wanting to get on the show. Some of them will probably end up being on our show eventually, and then some people that have been on our show. So you can hear our different tacks and different takes on what people have to say about their careers. But the last episode actually was really good because they had an agent on. Yeah, and I think anytime you get to hear what an agent has to say, you should listen, because it's pretty rare that they put their time out there to be on a show. It just is. They're super busy people. And just they're production oriented. So to get them to come in and just talk about the business is really valuable. So tune into the last Voice VO Buzz Weekly with Sandy Schnarr, I think it was, from AVO Talent. So thanks again, you guys.
Yeah. All righty. Well, all right. I think that's going to do it for this week.
That'll do it.
I think so. Have we done enough? No, you guys want us to stay until midnight, right?
It's been enough.
It's been enough. Trust me, George, I can see you sweating bullets over there.
I'm getting shiny. I need my makeup.
Yes.
All right, everybody.
Okay.
Thanks
Anyways,
again.
we will be back next week as usual, and back with tip of the week and with more picks of the week, and other technical tragedies that I'm sure will probably occur between now and then. Anyway, I'm Dan Leonard in the East. Happy Mother's Day, everybody.
I'm George Wood in the West. Happy Mother's Day, everybody.
And we are both East West Audio Body Shop. Have a great week. We'll see you next Sunday night.
Take care. Bye.